I think I'm just gonna name this my booktubing scarf and call it a day. Hi kids, this is a review of Shadow Puppets, which is the third in the Shadow series, following Ender's Game, if you know what I mean. If you want to get really technical, it's the 7th book from the very beginning, but I'm not going to get technical. This is it. It's beautiful. It's by Orson Scott Card, and it's got a lovely orangey black cover, and it's shiny, so hey, that's always nice. To begin with, I want to say that the book previously, Shadow the Hegemon, was my favorite of those that I have read. It was great. It was a nice new story and new continuation from what had been happening. It was a good development in the plot for all of these characters, and this did not live up to it. Basically, I felt this entire book was Orson Scott Card causing drama and getting in the way of me getting to the final installment that he wanted for these characters. And this was just filler. This is a filler book in between a really great story and probably a really great ending, but he was like, oh, I can't just spring that on them at the end. I guess I should throw this in there for good measure. That's what I felt this book was. In Shadow of the Hegemon, you have the students from Ender's Geesh in Battle School coming back to Earth and having to reacclimate to Earth life and slip into lives that are not, being trained for the military and being incredible geniuses. But it's a little bit challenging, and some things go awry, and Hegemon appears, and this book is supposed to follow that. However, this book follows that with just more of the same, but incredibly drawn out and underwhelming plot tactics. This book includes some romance that I was a little appalled by and don't think fit the characters written. I was put off by it in the beginning and kind of came around to it in the end and said, oh, look, those people have emotions. The summary on the back of this book is completely incomprehensible. It's basically, oh, look, here's this plotline about them all coming back from battle school. Remember how I wrote that before? Well, now Peter Wiggin wants to help out, and everybody's going to band together, and it's going to be great. We're all going to reacclimate from battle school and reshape the future and reshape the world. Well, that was the theme of the last book, not for this one. While Orson Scott Card's writing style stays the same, and he continues to write very strong, very intelligent child characters, from the moment that he lets the emotional shields come down on some of these kids, the plot just skyrockets into this overdone, hackneyed plot line that we've all seen before and are all expecting. It was not working. I really don't think it was working. However, what he does do well is exposure in this book. It says in his author's note that what he wanted to do was really bring to light some of the minor characters from the story, and he did do that. I think Siri Wong, who is Tai, is the real hero of this story. I think that we learn a lot more about some of the other kids that were in Battle School with Bean and Petra and Ender, and we never hear about them because the story is obviously so centric on Bean, but they all come together and play a part in this book, and we learn what's happened to them, and we learn where they're going and what kind of roles their home nations are having them take on, and Orson Scott Card brings them to light, and it's really great to see other characters that you've never really spent a lot of time with in this book, and he exposes them as real people and not just auxiliary names. Other things I will grant Card are his ability to write a fantastic anticipation scheme. Since so much of this book is militarily based, they obviously have to be very careful when communicating with each other, especially about tactics and plans, and so when they are discovering something about what they're going to do in the future, and they're telling each other, and they're making these discoveries, they're always very, very careful in how they're saying it, and sometimes it's coded, and all of the emails are coded, and sometimes encrypted. But every time that a big drastic conversation or a big discovery comes about, I get very, very nervous that at the next moment someone is going to bust in and people are going to start dying. And it's happened a couple times in past novels. It hasn't really happened a lot in this book, but every time it comes up, I'm always anticipating it, and I can't work myself out of it. And I have to say, Orson Scott Card, man, your anticipation scheme, it is phenomenal. Good job. However, this entire book you wrote might have been a little bit pointless. I spent a lot of it thinking I would just really like to get to the ending now. Give me the next book so I can stop reading this. Ergo, I give Shadow Puppets by Orson Scott Card 3 of 5 stars. While it was still a decent read, full of things that I enjoy and expect and characters that I look forward to, it wasn't what I was hoping. It did not live up to the brilliance that was the book before it. And no, I did not give 5 stars to Shadow of the Hegemon, but you know what? It was still my favorite, and this did not do it justice. So I'm hoping that the 4th installment will serve the characters, the plot, and ultimately the author a bit better. That being said, I do want to share with you a quote on the back of this book, which I think really hits the mark, perhaps not for the Shadow series, but definitely for the Ender series, and it says, "The novels of Orson Scott Card's Ender series are an intriguing combination of action, military and political strategy, elaborate war games, and psychology." If you enjoy psychology, I guarantee you will enjoy these series. This is a USA Today quote, and good job USA Today, because that is entirely accurate, and I approve of this quotation on the back of this book, despite its less than pleasing existence. Hope you guys are all doing well. London is sunny and cold, but ultimately very beautiful. Not as beautiful as Bath, but ultimately very beautiful. Thanks for watching, and we will see you all very soon.